Well, good afternoon to you too, Connie. How you doing? Hope you're doing good today. It's been a pretty good day. We like it. A lot of risk in this area, obviously in the decision-making area. We can talk a little bit about those decisions if people need some talk about those type of decisions, right? We ended up getting that second push from the 5-minute, reacting in that little zone, coming down into it, coming down to test in here first. Very interesting. Actually needed to retest lows, but made a higher low. Seeing that extended move up, seeing the 5-minute divergence build. Once again, not necessarily condoning shorting, right? Maybe hedging type of positions, shorting in this area. It looks like an easy fade, but you never know. It could just gap up one more time first, ruin that, then fade later. So, you know, I think if you're really looking at this and you're going, hey, I know about position size, I'm all good. You guys are trading like water. I think you'll be just fine making a decision like that. All right. But we are in a very bullish trend. So sometimes shorting can be a difficult thing. That's all. Great. It's a beautiful day. Well, that's good to hear. That is good to hear. VIX is now down by 15%. You see the 30-minute is wildly deep here. Does it overall say, hey, the market is kind of due for potentially a down day in the next 2 trading sessions, actually. 85% chance for that. Yeah, shorting now, no bueno. Well, I mean, I think if you're going to make that type of decision, you kind of see the little inclinations of like, this is where, and you're kind of exhausted potentially. You're more, there's more data in this area to suggest like, hey, we could get a 30-minute reaction. But shorting in this environment for a 30-minute reaction, I would say if I am taking a position, it's like a hedge position, right? Meaning I'm not trying to make another, I don't know, trade like this one. I'm not trying to make a 3x or anything like that. It's more like I'm looking for my 20 to 50%. I'm looking for that little dip down. If I get lucky and we see a move like this and we break that low, I'll just take my profit because I know it'll probably bounce and then end up going lower before it's actually testing into what it needs to test to. So just in case anything goes wrong in here, I'm just going to take my profit and say, hey, at least I got a nice little short there. Like that's more how I look at it. The trend is up, so up plays are going to be easier. Marco's like 100%. I would just say if I'm going to do it, the word would be tactical, right? The word would be quick and tactical. And that's more when day trading comes in. I'll let you guys know what I did. I'm sure you guys, I don't know. Do you guys want to know? I think 570 makes sense. Trading strategies. Yeah, I'm looking at the same level with the openness for. Actually, I'm open for 568. I'm also open for gap fill, but I think 568 would be great. I think leaving these behind pretty important. IWM levels for upside. You're already there. You're actually reacting back below. This is not a good sign for IWM. IWM is no longer, at least for the time being, it's not showing you that pathway higher, which means that IWM is at risk of seeing a downside move. So what you want is you want this to curl up. You want price to break through here, and you want to see at least a new high. And weirdly enough, I know talking about it's like this is more leaning towards like pullback happens now. If you'd make that new high, it says, yeah, pullback happens now, right? You'll still most likely pull back from there, but you saw the pathway higher for your 30-minute, right? So the 5-minute can kind of tell you that a little bit in the price action. You're not seeing that right now, though. You're seeing kind of the opposite of that take place. You are seeing, if we really consider this, okay, we'll take this entire bar. We'll pretty much just mark off that entire bar. You're kind of seeing the opposite. If you mark off that bar, what did you do? Well, you kind of broke down. You were nice. You was great. Okay, you found this. And notice, what did we do? We didn't show the pathway down yet. Awesome. Then you're able to scoop that thing back up and you test into where, and so far it is failing. So far it is failing, which means you could get a 30-minute pullback like now. Like right now. VIX is showing a ton of 5-minute divergence, holding it very well. So this can cause a reaction from the 30-minute. The reason we're paying it, okay, so the reason we're paying attention to it more so here than say like here is because of our data. Is because of what's going on with the SPY right now. It's making the same divergence and it's outside of a 95% line. That's why we're reading into it. It doesn't mean some kind of crash has to happen. This literally could go like this the rest of the day. It could go like this in the morning, and then it could just break through. It could go like this, spike down, not lose the low, turn right back up, right? This does not have to be bearish at all here. This is what squeezing is. Now, as the move was very sporadic, I would think you would see some kind of retrace in like a 1, 2, 3 type of move. You tap into something like 570 to 568. That would be the best way to head higher quicker. The other way you head down, right, is which would be weird, is you get another bump in here and you head down to that gap fill. I would be more worried about the rollover at that point, to be totally honest. But we'll pay attention to that price action when it comes. But what do I do after a good trade, right? I did put out that thing on Patreon just to try to, reel people in. That's what I said this morning. It's just to kind of reel you in a little bit, right? Hey, oh, things are great. This is great. Oh, I'm excited. I'm pumped. Okay, Lucas comes in and he goes, yeah, I'm glad you're excited. Celebrate it. But understand, this is where you can make mistakes, right? This is where we can make mistakes. What would some of those mistakes be, right? What would some of those mistakes be? You just go, okay, well, one of those mistakes, I think I can think of 2 of them right off the bat. One of those mistakes is if for whatever reason, I read into this, I used all of my skills here and I said, okay, yes, I'm reading into this. Okay, awesome. We're making this little double bottom down here. We're using the 5. The trend's really positive. They didn't show me the bearish thing. So maybe this news over the weekend leans more bullish. So I'm going to take that. It's a bullish trend. Everyone's saying crash and we just don't see that from the price action. Okay. Now we're there. Like 1 second into the day, you're there. It's very important to understand decision-making areas, right? Because a big problem that people have here is not getting a little greedy. Getting a little greedy is fine. That's the taking some profit, leaving some runners, right? That's the little bit greedy. We got to satisfy that. We're human beings. We got to satisfy our greed sometimes. But I think the bigger problem is taking 0 profit here. And you have to live with that decision. And I'm not saying that's a bad decision. I'm not saying it's a good. I'm just saying you have to live with that decision. So think about it. And maybe you take that style of thinking into your decision making. Hey, whatever I decide on now, I'm going to have to deal with tomorrow. Right? So I think one of the big things is greed, just 100% greed. Being like, I'm not going to take any profit here because we have to go to 590 today. And then you see all those reversal signals from VIX. You see it's down 15%. You have 85% chance for a pullback in the next 2 trading sessions, right? What's the point of having these purple lines? What's the point of this red line if you're not going to use it? The other one, which kind of ties into that vein a little bit, is the guy who takes full profit and says, that's the decision that is best for me. And then he immediately goes, okay, now I'm shorting because this has to pull back. The second problem I would say is overtrading. Overtrading is a big, big issue. Okay, you just had one of the most phenomenal trades probably of your trading career. If you genuinely bought calls here, took like a 2-day or a week or even 2-week option, you're loving this. You doubled, you tripled maybe if you sold at the right time. It's great. You just had a great trade. And you're immediately going, I need to make money. You're not giving yourself that time to calm down, to really make sure that all the analysis you did here, you're just saying, I don't need any of that up here. No, there's just a line here, so I'm good, right? Make sure that you're giving yourself that period of pause to really look at things and say, is this what made me successful here? If no, then what's the point? You are much better off doing something, and this is where I'll share what I did this afternoon. You know what I did this afternoon was I did a chore, right? Had to spray down the house. It's getting hot outside. Some of those bugs come back in. I don't know how they find their way in, but man, those brown recluses here, they're fucking wild. Thankfully, haven't seen one of those. Just those little, like a garden spider was in. I'm like, all right, I'm going to spray. And then after that, what did I do? I said, you know what? We need to celebrate because this was a great trade. My wife said, I really want pizza. So I went and got pizza. I got a cherry Coke for her. I came back. Me, my daughter, my wife, we just sat, we ate pizza, we watched TV. I didn't look at stocks. I didn't look at stocks at all. I gave myself that period of time to mellow out. And now I can look at charts now and go, okay, is this the kind of setup that I want to take? This is a squeeze. Do I want to take some kind of massive short here actually? Or would the better idea to probably be like, hey, if we're going up now, we're probably going up into OpEx, which means if we pull back, oh, well, this is a sell the rip, buy the dip kind of market right now. So maybe I want to wait until this happens and then see if I find the signs in here that I kind of found down in here, and then I'll take that upside play, potentially all the way to 590, right? Giving yourself that period of time is very good. It gets you into times where you will not make those kinds of mistakes, right? You will not overtrade as often. You still will. We're going to make mistakes, right? It's going to happen. But I think pointing out these things is a good thing. Turning 77 into 280. Hey, that's still good. What do I think about tomorrow? I think tomorrow has the chance to have some more volatility. From what I'm seeing from volatility, I don't know why baby girl's crying or something, but yeah, I think you have that. You have the stats with you with the 85%. You have the 30-minute signal, like the thing that turns around 30-minute signals on the VIX and the SPY at the same time. At the same time, you see this from the dollar. See this little 30-minute divergence from the dollar. Looking at that too, just going, why is that happening? Then at the same time, you have the 10-year yield scaling up just crazy dramatic right now. If we read into this at all, like inflation comes in hot because of those tariffs and people read into that, it would be a good excuse to sell off. It would be a good excuse to do what? Retest into what you just broke out from, right? So now that we have like a bigger chunk of price, I know it's very choppy, but I think we can still utilize it. Sorry, I almost knocked over a drink there. I'm going to include all of it this time, and you're going to see what? We could go right back down to where we started, and it would still be okay. That's what really helps you out, and that's why we're going to put this in the full technical analysis course, right? We're going to, this is something that I kind of did because you've seen me in the past more make zones like this, like pointing out the resistances. Instead of pointing out the resistances, and I just shared this with some people this like in the past couple of weeks, you can include the entire block and just treat that as your whole percentage zone. And so that's something that I just kind of like do. That's from because what people are doing is they're marking off resistance here, they're marking off resistance here, right? What I do is I just say sometimes, especially in like squeezes and things like that, it's very good to mark off the entire zone. And I might switch that. It's been working a lot better than, say, just regular resistance zone. I mean, regular resistance zones have worked plenty well, right? Sometimes you just don't reach all the way up to it, but this worked plenty well, right? You react up towards it. So, yeah, that's all. I mean, that's the main point to get across there, just like what this is. And we'll explain that more in the course, but you can see how that area now is very important, and it would take a lot to break it through. It's like this would have to happen. You'd have to show the way lower with a new low, then curl up, then curl back down. Then you'd have to crash through at least 545, and then you'd have to get another curl up and reject down again, and that's when you're crashing. But this would be your downtrend. This is when shorting will get easier, right? But we're not even close. You have to get through all of that business first. And that's why it's very improbable. Okay, so that's my outlook for tomorrow. My outlook for tomorrow is if I had to tell you, right, we got the 5 minute right so far, 5 minutes confirming. If that's going to drop below this low, then I would say at some point we're going to do something like this, test at least into 572, if not 570. I think 570 to 568 is the most likely area. If they want to just take care of business and you just see an overreaction from CPI, you could see something like this spike down. Watch for your daily expected move maybe in that area, right? Or maybe a second standard deviation, and then see if that's able to get that curl back up. Because all you need from this 30-minute chart, after all of this, right, drawing all this up for that 5 minute, for that 15-minute chart, all you need for the 30-minute chart is this to curl up. Again, right? When it crosses, whatever happens sideways or down, when does it cross up? Because the next time that this crosses up, you're potentially going to here. That's right. The next time this crosses up, you could get all the way to 590. That's crazy. But it's OpX. So of course they're going to milk the positivity. I will now call support bottom resistance. Well, it's different, right? So how a block works is if you came in from above, if you're thinking simply, it's if I come in from above here, it's support. If I come in from below, it's resistance, right? So now that I have a zone created, it's if I'm starting off by going into the zone in a downward direction, it's support. And you're treating the whole zone as support with less probabilities down here of turning up, right? As you go through that, it goes like, hey, you know, say 99% chance, 98, 97, 96, 95, right? 50. Then it would go all the way down to say like 10% down here. It'd be like 90%, 10%. Because once it gets down to 10%, you're looking for this. Especially if you break, that's like really likely. That's why this moment was crazy. This moment was crazy. But if we walked through during the live show, the 5-minute here, holding that and just going boom, that was great. Crazy stuff. I still think I don't think Starbucks has done the price action it needs to do in one day here to convince me like more leaning towards investment there. I think it is more important for it to like give it time if I want to do an option. I decided to YOLO the full course this week. Hey, that's what's up, Josh. Let me know how it goes for you, okay, buddy? Come back in here and mention it, okay, so we can talk about some stuff. You're good, teacher Lucas. I sold everything early in the pre-call and didn't buy any shorts, just seeing what's happening. Well, the trend's bullish, right? And you should use the times where everyone's trying to overtrade as times to relax, right? Don't you guys like to say touch grass, right? Touch grass. Literally, like you should celebrate it. I'm not telling you like to be sad when you have a good play. I'm saying celebrate it, get that out of your system, and then also think of like what mistakes could I make here will bring you back down to reality of like, hey, I can make mistakes and I will make mistakes. As of right now, 5-minute, trying to get going again, not even negative. Let's see if it gets going again. Holy shit. That'd be crazy. Smoke grass, dog. Just Richard. Oh, Richard, I vetted your boy today. I had to. There is one thing that I did related to stocks today, and it was for my humorous enjoyment. I vetted your boy today. I did. Not Lottie stocks. No. Not Lottie stocks. Richard, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to the Gang Boy. You know what I'm talking about. I want you to go watch Friday's video, his live video on Friday. Oh, this was so much fun. Oh, it was so much fun. It gave me a giggle. Then I want you to go to the parts where that certain individual is talking about the SPY and listen to what he says about it. And then I want you to go over, you know, look at what he said, how he is, how he's probably positioned for Monday. And then I want you to go to the live stream from today. And if you go to the live stream from today, someone sounds very butthurt. And those people I do not feel bad about. So I don't name names, but Richard knows who I'm talking about. Of course he was. We took all his money today. How do I like the setup on TLT? Great question. This is going to be more for tomorrow, right? This is going to be for tomorrow. Something very important to watch. One, you're not necessarily seeing like a pathway higher or something like that. This move could genuinely be like a 1, 2, 3 and be done. That would be best case actually for yields, is this is just 1, 2, 3, and then you see them go down. But it's kind of like, why would they head down as well? We'll see. For TLT, I'd be really looking at stuff like this right now. I would be looking at this stuff right now because this is kind of nuts. Maybe we can utilize, you know, weekly expected moves and things like that for it. You can see for the lower end here for the month, the whole month, this is pretty damn low for the month. For the week, you're almost to the same spot. That means that these yields will be interesting. Okay, that's the best way to put it. There's a 2-hour divergence here. So what I'd really look for, I like to look for like if I take a play with TLT, I want the setup to be perfect because it does play out very, very well a lot of the time. Like what I noticed from TLT was if the setup looks good on multiple time frames, there's almost like no problems. You almost have no problems from it. Just it's kind of strange. You will have problems, just not as many. So what I think here from something like TLT is if you look at, say, a 2 hour on the 10-year, you're not necessarily seeing like the signs to say like short, but the levels that you're getting to for TLT are pretty damn freaking critical. I mean, I think you're gonna reach down and get to a gap or something like that, but maybe we see something like this first. Boom. Like a 30-minute move like this, 30-minute move down, fill gap, and then we try to go. And then you can use your skills here that you've been learning about price action for the last like 2 weeks, right? And say, hey, we don't want to reject from here for sure. On the 30-minute time frame, you do not want to reject from this, in my opinion. You want to see if it can show you that pathway higher, then get the big pullback that everyone gets bearish on TLT again. So I think there's a setup that is in creation here, if not already here. So, I would still consider it a risk to reward play at this point, though, because the 2 hour is seriously showing you it wants to keep going down, right? It's still showing it to you. So I would say risk to reward might be an okay play, but you have to get all the way down to here before you actually see that risk to reward. So I don't have that much confidence in TLT right now with how it's setting up, but I can see that if the 2 hour crossed through, we could start to see that daily curl back up, right? Another higher low. It's just hard because right now it's like, so maybe this would be the way to put it. Investing seems a lot less scary here than an option. And if I am going to do an option, I'm going to really pay attention to position size and just be like, hey, this is a risk to reward play. Maybe I already have it written down, like how much I put into just a risk to reward play if it gets to those critical levels. Yeah, it's like, I want to be like, oh yeah, it's going to go up. But with the event tomorrow and how rates are behaving right now, it's kind of difficult with that daily just curling up. 82, 81. I would look at the 85 level still, Oscar. Thomas. VIX 30 calls 618. I think volatility might get a pop here. This would be a terrible place to reject from, by the way, if we just started to go down. This would be like, that would be really bad. Because you technically, like, you got rid of the 2 hour divergence, so that would be out of nowhere. So if you actually see bearish things start to happen here, like we break through here, curl up, curl down, like we actually see like 550 broken through cleanly, that means something very unknown might be happening. So just be aware of that. But I hesitate to say those things even on stream right now, just because all of this has been bullish context. Like the price action has been bullish here. The reversal from the lows was bullish. The 2 hour curling up with our scenario 1 was bullish. We broke through resistance, bullish. We saw a scare moment and the market still saved itself and went bullish. And then we pulled back on the 2 hour, which is just fantastic. And guess what? It remained bullish. Like everything here was bullish. So I hesitate to be like saying things that are just like out of nowhere, kind of an unknown scare. I don't want to scare you. We don't have anything unknown right now. I would just look at the 85 level though, Oscar. I don't mind 85. I think 81, 82 would be fine. Bullish and bearish numbers. Hey, that's good. Thomas, I doubt if you enjoy this channel, I will just say that the channel that I was talking about was doing the exact opposite of what we said in these areas. They said stock market crash right here. They actually said it right here. Okay. I like to do that. It's one of my devilish fun things to do. Is the people I disagree with, I always like to see their video on the day before a move like this, and then the day after. See what their tactic is for the day. Is the tactic to tell them that you were this and you actually weren't when I go back and look? Or is the tactic just to talk about other things? Let's just say the tactic for today was to talk about other things. It's one of my guilty pleasures. He was in a bad mood. I wonder why. Tom's great, man. And Tom has access to other data that I don't really pay attention to or purchase, right? So you got to respect that too about some YouTubers, the ones that are really like paying for things. I really do things. I try to show off how you can do things like pretty minimally, but I think it's still very good to have connections, right? With say like FX, who can show you some of those dark pools. Is profit taking bad at this moment? Fuck no. I would say not making money here is a long is if you do that long term, it will be considered a mistake most of the time. Seeing a move like this, if you caught this from down here to here, right? If you're getting into calls here, you're FOMOing. Like we all know it, and you might get lucky, right? You might get lucky and see this. If you do that, you know, just I would really slap yourself in the face and be like, hey, yeah, that wasn't necessarily like a smart decision, but it ended up being a good decision, right? I would slap myself and be like, that was stupid. You got lucky. SoFi, yeah, we haven't really looked at too much of SoFi today. Great look to it. Once again, you're looking for the same things. Same things. This is just what? Boom, higher lows, higher highs. Okay, now you're probably going to see a mean higher low, right? Something that comes back down into 1335 would be fantastic. If you want to gap fill and go retest the lows, you just really don't want to break through about 1303 probably. Maybe a little deeper. Probably just say 1302. That would be the worst I think you want it to get. If you lose this low, that's when you watch out for the big move that people go, oh, it's back. No, I was wrong. And then it just rolls again. This is the short though. Right? You want to wait till you're actually like showing the way down to short in this environment. Sometimes we talk about reversals all the time, right? We talk about those divergences on the upside all the time. It's just the environment is very different here. You're coming out of a potential like recession bottom, right? You're coming out of it. You're going into the next zone. Now you're crossing up through all of that resistance and saying, no, I want to go higher. So you are in a different scenario here. Let's just say most of us are probably all cash. That's what I'm saying. Like I did do that today. It's not I would. I did do that today. I literally laughed at a couple of people I disagree with all the time because I think they're using people to make money for a Discord. That's why it's hundreds of dollars to join a Discord, right? And then the other thing was just I had my fun with that, and then I move on and I go just have fun with my day, right? Took the boys out for a sec, took them on a nice little brisk walk. Might take them out again. They seem like they have some energy. And hung out with the girls, got them pizza because my wife really wanted it. And I was like, it's not Mother's Day anymore, okay? So SoFi, I think it's in the same. I think a lot of things are still behaving the same, which is very nice, right? We talked about that a few weeks ago. We're like a lot of charts are behaving the same. Now that's changed after earnings, but for something like SoFi, it really hasn't. SoFi, it's not making new all-time highs. It showed you the way higher, so you're very likely to go higher. By the way, for SoFi, you're very likely to go higher. The way that this breaks down is you have to lose this low and then see that breakdown over time. But what's most likely here, what would be the best thing for SoFi? You have buyers here. So go down to there again, let them reload, do this. If you can hold up at 1335, that would be best case scenario. And then you're watching out. Around these type of levels, you watch out for those hiccup moments, okay? The next 30-minute push, we'll be talking about watching out for the 2-hour pullback. You pretty much, it looks like for the market, you have one 30-minute move left. If you even can flag out or get a pullback. If you go higher, you're at risk of making the 2-hour pullback before you even get a 30-minute divergence or anything, right? The positivity is just being shoved in there. You always have the opportunity for that pop off, that blow off top type look, where it just booms up and retest something before it's ready. That's always really bad. It's really bad to retest something before you're ready. That retest area will be here. It'll be actually just the top side. Let's take the actual high. You would more so just include these. Maybe I do want to include that. We'll pull this over later. I'm going to look at this off stream to really make sure I'm getting the right stuff here. But I think it makes, yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense right there. Where's the closing of those bars? Where's the closing of this? Like that. So this actually makes a lot of sense. So I'll take a look at this off stream though. Because you're tapping into here, and if you get extended in there and you go test this center, you go test 595 before you're ready, you can see a very big 2-hour pullback. You really want the market to kind of be prepared to go to those levels. Most stocks have, Jake, yes. So this is where chasing can be a problem. Hey, that's good. That's good, Eaglin. I'm glad. Thank you for saying that, Thomas. I just read that. I'm glad. I'm not going to get it right every single time, but I think I'm remembering the JP Morgan thing. It was pretty hard to time, if I recall correctly. No, the JP Morgan trade was good. It was the Meta JP Morgan, and then before that was NVIDIA, like way before that. So yeah, I think I recall. It will never test that level you just highlighted. Are you an insider? Are you Wall Street? Like, if you are, help us, dude. Help us. Like, if you know exactly where the stock market's gonna go, like, fucking tell us, dude. Puts, I think it's understandable for people who want to fade here, but you're in an extremely bullish, you're squeezing. Look at the 5-minute, just continue to head down, and then it starts heading up, and what does it do? It's just remaining flat, you're squeezing. So this can go either way from here. Your percentages would say pull back tomorrow morning. That's what your percentages say. But you're doing the crazy thing and you're squeezing. So shorting here to actually make a good trade is a lot more difficult. It's very boring sitting in cash. It is. Patience is boring. Make it not boring. Go do something. You know? Figure out what time frame you want to get in on. And if you're like, hey, I want to get in on the 2-hour time frame. Okay, you're going to be waiting for potentially a 2-hour pullback. Okay, that could take a week. All right, then I'm going to go hang out. Oh, hell yeah, Rajiv. That's what I'm talking about. I gotta break out the TaylorMade driver soon that I suck with. I'm garbage. Like if you can unlock what you're good at, genuinely, if you can unlock what you're good at, you can take like long ass breaks. If you have the fortitude, the privilege, and maybe you've made great decisions throughout your life to have a good lump sum of money, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to take 2-hour divergence plays with dailies when they're outside of the monthly. You literally could do nothing all month, pull up your charts once a week, and then once you're a little closer to that line with a divergence, you go, okay, cool. Your probabilities would say pullback tomorrow is very probable. And the VIX is agreeing with it, but it says in the next 2 trading sessions, you are squeezing. Hey, do what you want. I would just more so look at it as a even if I didn't have calls, I would still look at the position as a hedge, like a small position just in case, if you just want to make some money with the awareness of like, this is squeezing. It could easily go against you. This is very, very bullish. You could see another gap up tomorrow if we just talk about China again. So it's a difficult time to short in the environment. I'm talking about in the environment. The price, it looks juicy, right? We all see it. We're not idiots. We freaking see it, right? It's the environment. The environment makes it risky to short. But you are in the environment of sell the rips, buy the dips. So I get it. I like that, Josh. If I'm trading because I'm bored, I'm using the fun account. And I'm really wanting to use the fun account this week. I think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna do I might do like a 3-day call or something like that if we actually dip all the way down to 564. Be real degen about it. We'll see. That is the fun account's been doing too good, so it's probably gonna do really freaking bad. So no one follow me. Lumps here. What up, Lumps? How are you doing today? How are those lumps? The degen account's gotten like 3 right in a row, and I'm like, whenever there's 3, I think it's like 3 or 4. It's always the 5th one, that bastard. And I'm always like, around this time, I'm always patient too, for like at least a couple of days, and then I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm YOLOing this, and then it just goes sideways, and then the move happens the next day. That's what happens with the fun account every time. Maybe I just shouldn't YOLO the amount, and I should actually like stop funding my fun account and just treat it seriously. Just turn it into a real account. What's a fun? But that's not what it's for. Get my little gambler out of me. Yeah, it looks good. I like the market so far. I think 5-minute. Oh damn! It showed you a path higher again. All right, so we're kind of looking to lose this. The way we'd like this to break down is to use the. Sorry about that. My bad. It's warm outside. So how we'd like to see this break down, if it is going to break down, right, is we use this for negative things, right? We see this taken out. We go boom. Then we curl up. We go into that area. We reject. We see kind of a move like this. If it shapes up like this, I think maybe it would go deeper or further up. But either way, like a 2 push down. I only have a fun account. Hey, don't look at my big arrow. It's for my wife. And big is an overstatement. I drive a truck. No, I do not. I got rid of the truck years ago. Sad day. Frickin' people who sold it to me ruined it. Mechanics ruined it. All right, so we can see some interesting things out there. I think the most interesting for me is the dollar. I think the dollar is the most interesting. Great move. Looking like what? Oh, we're starting to see some 30-minute weakness. The dollar coming back is a good sign. The dollar getting a 2-hour push down, you want to think like, why would that happen? So is something in the global political spectrum going to be a reason for the dollar to pull back, right? Just narratives. And then the other thing that's interesting to me, one, you got rid of 2-hour divergence. You are very likely to continue for another 2-hour move at the least. At the least, a 30-minute move. 2-hour is very, very deep here. So this is a good way to see like, okay, this is probably going to continue at least for one more push. And then the other interesting thing was actually the housing sector. The housing sector able to show you that potential way higher, but really reacting into the bulk of things here. Very, very interesting to react into the bulk of things. Great little pullback here, but notice you have this shoulder over here. So we'll see if we're going to fill that gap before heading higher. But this is great. Why? You're starting to violate things. So that's always a good sign. Always a good sign. 30-minute for HGX looks like a pullback is necessary, which is good when it matches the SPY. Now we can hang out in 5-minute charts for the last 30 minutes and watch some degens fool around and beat each other up. And actually, we'll go take a look at Tesla because we have time. Plenty of time here. 30-minute pullback again for Tesla, not able to get to 328.50. At this point, you have 1, 2, 3. So how does Tesla overall start like failing on the 30-minute scale? It's kind of like this. Kind of like this. And actually, you'd probably sweep that at that point. Then you react up and see that drop again. So it's going to be very difficult, right? So if it's going to be very difficult, the easier thing to do would be just like fill that gap and then turn up. That's the easiest way to get to here. And then when you get to there, you can kind of see what potentially 2-hour pullback into Friday. Then on Friday, maybe we run that bad boy, say into maybe next Wednesday, but that's reading too far in, right? We don't want to go too far. We always just want to see what's in front of us and see what's the most probable, right? What do we want to see? Okay, well, 1, on the 5-minute, we don't see the pathway higher right now. We'll see if that changes. But for the time being, we can say, okay, if I wanted to go into this, is here a good point? Is here a good point? Well, no, you'd want, even if it does this, you'd still want this to happen to see your next opportunity. Tesla's a beast. Tesla is a beast that I watch. Once again, I don't trade Tesla. I think I've taken like 2 trades with Tesla in my life. AMC died. Usually, these guys don't want the market to do well, I think. It's not dead. 2 hours positive. Daily's curled up with divergence. That's good. The 30 minutes, the only thing wrong right now. GME 30-minute, the only thing wrong right now is 30-minute. Nice move here at the gap fill, or at the previous gap fill. Very nice to hold price here. Very nice, because that easily could have broke down. Especially with this going on, that could have broke down pretty quick. So this is good overall. It's holding price, but the 30-minute is not positive. The 2-hour is, so that's good. But you can see, right? We're not blind. We can see how this would want to even head up. We had that zone down here. Okay, react into the top of that and bounce off it. Right? So pullback would be the most likely thing, I think. Maybe not for the 2-hour, but for the 30-minute, I think continued pullback would be more likely. Squeezing to the upside obviously is like not the most likely thing from here. Squeezes you like to think are most likely down at the lows, right? So for the time being for this, daily is still in positive territory, but it's not curled up, so no check mark there. 2-hour is curled up in positive territory, so check mark there. Haven't seen the way higher again yet. And then the 30-minute is curled down, so no check mark there. So you're in a rough spot for these guys. I'm guessing you're going to be in a rough spot till earnings, if that's my best guess. Bitcoin -2. Oh, nice. Did it finally get the pullback? Perfect. We wanted to retest this. We wanted to retest this. You had the squeezing. We were like, all right, watch out. This will fail at some point. We thought it would get to 106, 212, something like that. It's actually okay to stop short. This isn't like a show the pathway higher or anything. It's just a resistance level. This is a 2-hour pullback. I think you would like a 4-hour. Okay, the 4-hour was showing the squeeze behavior too. This is good. This is exactly what you want to happen for the next big move. This is how you break through 106.2. It could take its time, right? You got to see if it's actually working for you or seeing some signs in here. Because if you start to see... Actually, if we see it rotate up now and reject again and show this, that would be the problem, I think. That would be the problem. That's what gets you to test lower, which would be a deeper 4-hour pullback. Yeah, it'd be a deeper 4-hour pullback. I don't think you want to revisit this too much. Yeah, I don't think you want to revisit down in here right now. I think you could do that later. I want to see Bitcoin show us the way higher first. I wanted to see some kind of moment where FOMO sets in for some people. Then it pulls all the way down maybe. Then we start to just ramp up throughout the summer. And then we watch out for July. But Bitcoin pulling down here, I mean, the market's doing what Bitcoin did, and Bitcoin kind of led there. So not a bad thing. Overall, really not. Let's see if this price action gives us a hint. This is squeeze action here, so it's just, ugh. Like you don't know yet if this is a low. That's the problem. We don't know if this is a low yet. The only way we'll know if this is a low, which is unfortunate, is make the new high. And then that could literally get violated next. It could literally be done. So unfortunate, I think, price action here. You've kind of started you melted up to a point, a random point, if you will, because there's no price action over here. Kind of just a new high. And then you kind of just you just messing around right here. So this is the unfortunate part, but this is how this look is right now. I would say the 30-minute is telling you something else. Volatility is telling you something else. But the SPY right here with the 5-minute chart is kind of saying like, I could make an either way kind of move into end of day. What did I say about PCC? I wanted to see that more neutral by the end of the day if we're up here. And we're kind of neutral by the end of the day up here, which is very, very nice. Yeah, we want to see that neutral set in. That's very, very good, I think, for the psychology of the market right now. That would mean more so, yes, people aren't shorting it into oblivion, meaning the squeeze could stop. So the more likely pullback on the 30-minute, that opportunity I'm looking for, potentially around 570 to we'll say 564, somewhere in there. That can shape up over the next like couple trading sessions. Let's go, Cat. Nice job. Can you give thoughts on PFE? Yeah, we can look at Pfizer. Fuck Pfizer, like just first of all. Second of all, it's showing you a little bit of the way higher. We'll read into it in a moment. You still could revisit the lows, just not too deep. You don't want to go deep into this. You want to more so look for probably 2250. 2250 looks really nice. If you see this and this, weirdly enough, you still got this going on, man. So on the 30-minute, it looks okay. It looks like a higher low will set up. If it does the things to tell you roll down, then that's a different kind of problem. 2 hour, decently deep here, actually. So when all this is said and done, what's really important is like, how are we behaving up here? How are we behaving up here? Because if I get a 2-hour run and it just runs, or we make good structure even, and then it runs, does that reject from the lower end saying, oh, that was a failure, and then we start to break down? Yeah, that's the bad part about this. If you look at it from the daily perspective, though, that looks like a potential 2-hour higher low, right? We went extremely positive, this. So you're going to have some price action battles. I think one of them is going to take place like now. I think the next one is going to be here. If it can show you the way higher, then pull down into that zone. That would be the best. Like breakthrough, strong move. Maybe to 25. Yeah, 25.33. Then you see that big dip down that people get real bearish and you just realize, oh, this is a zone. And what direction am I coming into it now? Well, coming down into it. So support and then see if that holds. That's how I'd look into it over time. But for right now, I think 30-minute pullback would go a long way, actually. It doesn't suggest it's like stopping yet. I'm just saying at some point, revisit that level. Like even if you do this, revisit it, then go again. No earnings. I always got to check now in case people are being sneaky. Already had earnings, and it was good. At least a good reaction. So a good reaction. Okay, awesome. Let's beat that high with a 2-hour turning up. Yeah, I don't mind that. Let's try it. Well, let's see what you guys are saying first. Boxes with the midlines are more helpful. That's good, because normally we just point out those resistances and supports, like the obvious ones that most people point out. I just made a system for myself. I just made a system kind of for myself to get a percentage gauge on it. And it worked pretty well over time, especially in this environment. Like I don't use it. I wouldn't say I use it all the time at all, but maybe that's just because like I can see it with because I've looked at charts for way too much. But I mean, if it's helpful to you, if it just gives you that confidence, right? You're more paying attention to the price action in there. The big thing is like if you're watching price action, you see the way higher and you see things curl up, it's a good thing, right? If you see it make the way lower and then react into a resistance zone, you're like, all right, I'm looking for rejection. and then you see things build up in there and it turns the other direction, you go, okay, well, that's because we took back the center and then we saw that explosive move and then we curled up the 30-minute, right? It gives you the ability to read into price action. Could this be a temporary bull run? Bull runs have pullbacks, whether you like it or not. Every single big bull run you've had has pullbacks. Boom, pulls back. Boom, pulls back. Boom, big pullback, right? Boom, pulls back. Boom, pulls back. Boom, pulls back. Boom, big pullback, right? They will always pull back. It's just art right now. You're looking for like a this type of moment, or maybe like a this type of moment, a little like 30-minute or 2-hour, right? A little tiny 30-minute or 2-hour, or even sideways. I think you're more likely to see some profit takes. I think they could freak people out with CPI if they really want to. But if CPI comes out good, hey, watch out, 590. You're probably hitting it. Yeah, do it all the time then, Nels. Try not to get in that, like, make sure you're doing it on not every time frame. Do it on the time frames that you're focusing on for your strategy. So if you're following, maybe you like the stuff you're seeing on here, you like 30 minutes and 2 hours and stuff like that. Okay. And it gives you a good place to be like confident and being like, okay, big upward move, very likely to continue. We tap in the zone. I see a little bit of support. Okay. You know, you can make some chill decisions, some risk to reward chill decisions that way. Any predictions for CPI tomorrow? I think whatever the number comes out at, I think you could see a higher number because of the tariff period that went on. But I'm not banking on that in any way. I'm not taking a trade going into tomorrow. Not my game. Don't want to do it. If I can stay away from that and just see the reaction after, I'll be in a better spot. Right. Like really on day CPI day is a little different. I think you can read into price action. I think it would be an excuse to pull back. That's how I would overall put it. Your channel, what is PCC? Yeah, PCC is like the put to call ratio during the day. And then evening officer, if you want the CPC, will tell you that broad kind of like, hey, this is what you see after, like on the close, like it takes it all in and goes boom, there you go, spits you a number. So this is the better thing after hours for the put to call ratio, CPC, right? This is what I look at during the day, PCC. CPI is useless at this moment. I agree with you. It's just a lot of this data that you guys get once a week, twice a week, once a month, twice a month, once a year, twice a year. They're designed most of the time. They're just used as excuses to do liquidity grabs. If you just had an example with FOMC day, good. Add those to the watch list. I just keep them at the top. Just some things to keep your eye on. I don't like keeping the things I should keep my eye on at the bottom because then I'm never going to keep my eye on it, right? You don't see me scroll down to here very often. But if I put SPY and the Qs right next to the housing sector and VIX and 10-year yield, I'll pay attention to them more. Like, right, psychology in all aspects. My ass has ADHD to the brim. That's why I'm constantly talking and you guys are constantly annoyed by me. But I make my ADHD work because I know, hey, I want to watch these things. If these weren't here, I'd probably be clicking on Netflix every 5 seconds, right? Bam. Ooh, if this shows the way lower, that's rough for the 5-minute. Ooh. It already showed you the way lower here from this big move down. Because technically, you just needed to see a way lower from here. And damn, that is a way lower. This needs a better 30-minute reaction, but this could be bad. Yeah, that's going negative now. That could be bad. That's straight down. I don't have a weekly move. The place I'm looking for is right now, right? Right now. Yeah, down in here. This was our line. This was our last line in the sand kind of deal. If you're gonna break through here, I think right here would be the place to look first. Maybe for that bounce. That has to be pretty volatile. I don't like that amount of volatility. Maybe you see it get there eventually. If it's going to break down, though, it's going to roll from right here, I think. What's VIX 9-day look like, by the way? 30-minute. Okay, so 30-minute move. Makes sense. All right, for the last 15 minutes, let's keep our eye on the SPY. What the fuck is going on? Jesus. Are we playing WWE upstairs? What's happening here? Real pullback will be the third quarter. I'd agree with you on mid to late July, the start. Language. You sound like my grandma. R.I.P. Yeah, I think for now it'd be like mid to late July you start it. September you base out. Yeah, September. Probably a base out in September or October. Get a really big scare in October for Halloween, maybe. And then we see that next part. The big thing is, do we take out the previous low that we just made? That actual like daily low that you see, we got to see. Because if you take that out, man, all bets are off. You need divergence, and divergence a lot of the time on the daily scale, once you get to these levels, can just lead to like a bear market rally. So at that point, I'm not leaning towards that, just so we're clear. I'm not leaning towards some kind of massive move down. I think it'll be just a bigger pullback, like a daily, weekly pullback. So I think I agree with you, Asmama. Possible Iran war coming. What would that do to markets? Pump oil. The thing is, like, we've had war going on in other countries for a long time. We haven't seen, I mean, it affects the market when they need a liquidity grab. Once again, the Ukraine stuff, it affected the market with the liquidity grabs a lot of the time. It was never the sole reason for stocks to sell off. It was never like the reason we're crashing down by 40%, like some kind of big moment. The India Pakistan stuff, right? That's coming out. People sold a little bit because of that. It's like, okay. The wars that you want to worry about are the ones that America gets like fully and like sends troops. That's probably what you're worried about. Yeah, Mike. So there you go. Okay. Yeah. So you're thinking US against Iran. Yeah. If US is actually like physically, like we are there and we are calling it World War III, that's where bad things can happen. Sox play worked. In and out, baby. Let's go. Yeah. It goes like Boeing, right? Boeing. Probably like I don't know, any kind of metal stocks, probably gold. Where is Tony? I'm pissed. Richard, he was trying to compete for the love, for our boy love we got going on here. He just doesn't show up today. Doesn't even send a bird with a note. What the hell? Thanks for the Apple Play. Hey, Christopher, congratulations. Congratulations. Hey, you understood what was being said there, right? You know, give the credit to yourself. Use me as a second opinion. We discuss these things, and hey, it's a learning moment. Wasn't that a great setup? Look for more of those. Right? Try to repeat the process when the timing is right. Right? Apple was a very different play than like SPY calls here, by the way. Apple was a very different play. I think you're gonna see a bunch of that, Dave. I think you're gonna see a bunch of move, kind of like Palantir. Up, then down, then maybe back up, then down again. People are certain, but they're certain also that they want to make money. So you're going to see options really affect the prices of stocks. Which means if you get a big 3% rip, I would always go with the expectation that you're probably going to end up seeing at least a 1 to 3% rip down eventually. Nice job, Seabass. I'm about to sell my last long. Nice. Technically, VIX is dead. It is very dead on the daily and the 2-hour and the 30-minute. It's just suggesting that the 30-minute could curl up here. So that adds some credibility because the SPY is kind of saying the same thing. Hey, I want to pull back on the 30-minute. It's not a bad thing to get a pullback here. It is not. It is still very bullish to get a pullback and then just curl that thing back up. Ooh. Ooh, John. Ooh. That's rough. Sorry, Nature Love. I don't know what in the last hour I talked too much. Pullback definitely. Some kind of retrace, right, Baba? Some kind of retrace. Even if it's a small one, right? Where would a small one be? Well, it would be remain sideways, right? Probably just like do this. Try to stay within range of here. I don't think sideways is on the table going in. Let's look at this. Let's do this. Let's look for the SPY's IV. We are going to, hey, if you guys aren't ready for this, we are going to put out daily expected moves tomorrow. Okay, daily expected moves tomorrow. They will be there, all right? So we will put those out on YouTube tonight, so make sure you tune into YouTube's video tonight just to at least get the SPY and the Q's levels. Patreon members, I don't think I just burped out and it tastes like pizza. Awesome. I don't think we'll necessarily need to like focus heavily tomorrow on the 95% line for the daily move. So just join for the YouTube, okay? And then on, what is it? On Thursday or Friday? It's going to be Thursday or Friday, I'm pretty sure. That's when I will potentially put those out there. If you guys really want them, I can just put it out there. Calls would be chasing here. I don't see the good setup for call. You can be right, Beto, but yeah, I would not be buying calls right now. I'm not physically right now buying calls. I just sold all my calls. Right? Even on Apple, I don't even notice. I haven't looked at Apple multiple times. I do not care about it right now. I just don't care about it. It's a great trade. Let it be a great trade. Maybe. I don't know, Donald Lopes. Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about it at the beginning, but calls here can work. Like you're in the squeeze environment. Like calls are technically the right thing to be looking for. It's just, have I seen the real opportunity, or am I trying to chase and this is going to go up 3 more points and then drop? You know, and if it squeezes to 595, it's like, okay, can I repeat that process like 10 times a year and be, or once a month? Can I repeat that process once a month and be successful? I mean, I guess yes. You'd have to have, you know, I would not buy a lottery ticket. I would never go into a casino again if I was able to be successful with that. I'm saying in my context, I would consider calls not the best decision. If you already have runners and you have those calls at lower levels, that's way different. You can leave runners, right? But the purple line is a decision-making area. And if you make your ass up to that dotted purple line, you're going to be past the yellow one, aren't you? Past the monthly. Whew. Now down 1.2. Well, just so you're ready in store, I mean, VIX is calling a pullback with an 85% chance for a pullback in the next 2 trading sessions. Your ranges right now, aka the purple line and that dotted red line, are suggesting that a pullback tomorrow, at least in the morning, makes the most sense, which means if you, I don't know how dated out you are, but if this just pulls back to like 579, your calls aren't going to be happy. Something about over trading that I can't get over. I get you. I get you. Do a thing. Maybe take what I did into consideration. We can look for Google in a sec. Let's let the market do the market things first. See if it shows another thing here. I'm still skeptical about this. I don't like these run-ups into end of day, like just being like, see, everyone else is ignoring the CPI tomorrow. We know it's bullish. Like, I don't like that. We'll see if it makes a new high here. But yeah, over trading is definitely something that happens here. We literally talked about it like 35 minutes ago. Yeah. See, but this could be the over trading problem, Beto. Okay, we literally talked about this like 35 minutes ago, so I'm just going to say it again. If I just made a good trade, maybe you weren't a part of the trade, and that's why you're trying to find something. Am I trying to find a trade, or am I letting the trade come to me? Am I trying to find the trade, or am I analyzing and waiting and being patient for the right moment? Because timing is everything if you're going to decide to do options. It's risky, so take into consideration time. Yeah, you're right. But there is a way it holds up. It's called it does. Someone decides to buy right here at a max level, and the CPI comes out bullish for whatever reason. Right? It can happen. That's why I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing. Right? Maybe you take into consideration what I did today and you say, anytime that I have a trade that makes me over 100%, I will go eat a pizza and not look at charts for a full 48 hours. Oh, God. Disgusting. Just don't interact with him. I'll treat him like he's got a cute dog in there. We'll treat him all right. If we need to do something about it, we'll do something about it. Ah, it's getting up there. Exactly, Rocky. Kind of exactly. Kind of exactly there. I'm jeroming my Powell right now. Why does that immediately make me think of filthy ass things? I wonder if we make a new high here. I really feel like that high could be bait. Yeah, I would be weirded out if we made a new high here. We'll see. I have a hard time believing like we have another 2% up day. I think if we gap up and fade, maybe tomorrow's the fade day. That's right. Do you think Jerome Powell like has conversations with his dog about like increasing the food or decreasing the food? Like if his dog had weight problems, do you think he'd be like, we're gonna wait and see for more data on your weight before we lower that food? If his dog's like dying of hunger, he's like, I need to wait and see more data real quick. Show me the data. Okay, show me the data. Oh, you're dehydrated? Cool. That could be anecdotal. Show me the data that says you're dehydrated. Okay? God. We could really ruin the water bill if we do that. God, freaking dog. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you're like, dude. Oh God. Like, do something with your life, please. Please, for the love of the man upstairs, please do something with your life. Like, if you are doing this, you are blatantly just like, if you guys just click around YouTube all day and don't actually try to learn anything, like, go do something else. Vito, we're talking to you, by the way. Everyone else is awesome in the chat, by the way. Is CPI bullish? No idea. Your percentages are mostly just saying, oh, we're using this is cool though. We're using that as support. That's kind of crazy. That actually is really good. I don't know, maybe it will be. Either way, we ain't losing money because we already had the trade. He has to check his poop. Mike. That was good, Mike. Push things. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know why. I just price action wise, this doesn't look like terrible. You've kind of dictated a higher low. If you make a new high here, that'd be interesting. I have a hard time trusting it right now. This is the only time when we looked at 5-minute charts where if we made a new high, I'd be like, I do not trust that high. And it could be like maybe I'm just having a gut feeling for no reason. Maybe I'm just like I'm not going to trade either way, so really I'm just trying to read into the price here. But yeah, I'm getting a weird feeling. And that's why I'm like glad I'm not going to take like a $10,000 trade right now. All right, fine. Fun account. All right, cool. No, no. Oh God, no. Don't do it. Don't fun account it. No. No, 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 no. I refuse. Just don't make the new high. Just don't. Okay, now we have the new high. God damn it. This would say there's a pathway up. This would say there's a pathway up. It'd be very extended. I would not. Me personally, I won't be chasing any moves like this. Are we literally coming full? Okay, there we go. There it is. All right, you have the dictated higher low. You know, I would be cautious with this. I'd be cautious with that. Yeah, whatever's going to happen on CPI has already happened, and now something else is going to happen to go grab liquidity somewhere to make the thing happen more. Wait, I thought you didn't have a girlfriend? I ain't got a girlfriend. I got a wifey. If I had a girlfriend, I'd be in trouble right now. Oh my gosh, it's making an extreme. Okay, okay. Let's chill out. I mean, I did want 584 at some point. Maybe. I gotta be patient with it, but I don't know why I don't trust this like at all. That is not me giving any kind of analysis. That is a gut feeling of like this seems fishy before CPI. Anyway, there's the close. That's true, Rajai. I get that. It's just the manner in which we did it at the end here, showing the new high on the 5-minute scale at the end. It a lot of the time these type of things mean big gap up or big gap down, and with where price is sitting right now, it's kind of risky. But hey, we're down for that extension. Extend, go for it. Extend up to 591. I will probably take a position up there. It needs to digest if it goes all the way up there. I am a Korean subscriber. Awesome. I was just watching what was it? Over the weekend I was watching like Korean Valorant or something. Dudes are crazy. Is Paper X Korean? Based in Singapore. Anyway. Well, welcome from Korea. I do like my Korean shows. I watch a lot of them. It's a lot of fun. Stick around. We'll be live again in the morning if you would like to join us, SH. We'd love to have you here, okay, bud? Love to have you here. You guys, I'm going to get chilling for a bit, maybe go outside, touch some grass, and then I might hop back in here and I might have to look at some charts. We're seeing some upside, upside, upside. We'll see if that holds by morning. But for the time being, I'll be making that YouTube video, giving out the daily expected moves, okay? All right, so let's tune in later for the daily expected moves, and I'll see you guys in the morning right here on YouTube Live. What the hell is happening? We'll find out later. Peace, guys. Woo! Get up there, go! Who's holding the runners? Who's holding the runners? Woo! 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 All right, guys, see you in a bit. Oh no, you're good, Noah. I was trying to leave it for a sec so you could get the name, but I gotta go, buddy. So I'm gonna turn it off, all right? I was trying to help my boy out. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys later.